everybody for coming out tonight to our roundtable session. These are always exciting. You're able to, we talk about gleaning the golden nuggets and doing the things we do, and you cannot learn better than learning from other people. And it's awesome that you have the opportunity to sit in these trainings like this and hear from those who are on the upward momentum of getting their business started, and those who have been around a while who can basically, I can tell you 1,000 times to do something, but when you hear from somebody else that's hit that brick wall that I'm always talking about, and they turned their business around and they found the things that they needed to do and became successful, it's always awesome to hear from them. And so let me get a couple of things out of the way here. I want to move this box over, and we're going to get started. Real quick, let's get a couple of things out of the way. If you'd like to be notified of our trainings, go to http://InstantAppWizard.com/training to get on our email list and get our weekly reminders. If you're not getting an email, a lot of people get emails, and we email directly from the Instant App Wizard platform. Some people sign up with emails that they don't use, and why they do that, I'm not sure. But go to InstantAppWizard.com/training and put in an email that you know you will open up, and you will make sure you get the links every week to get on our email list. Secondly, if you want a text reminder, text IAW training to 27126. It just shoots out a quick reminder, and you'll know it goes out about 1/4 till. I always get it, and it's nice because it reminds me that training is coming up. I need to get online. If you have not joined our YouTube channel, join our YouTube channel at youtube.com/InstantAppWizard. And like us on our Facebook group at facebook.com/InstantAppWizard. Yes, my voice is a little raspy tonight. I'm a little bit just under the weather. Facebook group. If you have not joined our Facebook group, it is a great place to be. We usually get 2 or 3 new members in the Facebook group every day. Join our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/InstantAppWizard. And we'll be more than happy to put you in there. Now, I can tell you this happens just like with the email thing. People sign up under Facebook with a different email or name than they came actually into the program with. If you will just send me an email at Kerry, Kerry, at InstantAppWizard.com, we will be more than happy to let you into the group. We try to really monitor that to keep spammers out. I told you last week we're going to, starting next week, we're going to start doing the training that you want, the training that you need, and make it very specific. I posted a link in the, group today, and I said in that, write in the comments what you wanted, and people started clicking on the buttons, and I will probably change that because I think they're going to click on the buttons instead of telling me what they want training on. But there's 3 areas, and whether it be the platform, whether it be sales, or whether it be other, no matter what it is. I know Ed Wade wants to have some training on PayPal. I'll be more than happy to do that. But some of these trainings are going to be that are specific, may take up the whole training, and I may bring in 2 or 3 of the topics. But I want to train on what you want to be trained on over the next few weeks. So you tell me what it is. I will break it down, and we will have training on those specific topics. It's very important. So if you would, be specific. Don't just say, well, I need sales training. That doesn't tell me anything. That's a very broad brush. Take that 4-inch brush and bring it down to about a 1/4-inch brush, and get very specific on what you need, and we'll talk about it. And we're gonna get very in depth on these trainings. So just email me at Kerry at InstantAppWizard.com what you want the training to be on. And over the next few weeks, however long it takes, I will take those topics, break it down, but be very specific. I know even in the Facebook group sometimes you guys will ask questions, and it's like the answer could be one of 10,000 things. Or you'll ask a question about your app and you don't put the link for the app in there. There's no way to know because we got, I don't know, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of apps in the system. So you have to be specific when you're asking questions and when you need answers. This week, and I've been excited about this week, I do wish I felt a little better, and I apologize for that. But we are going to have our Instant App Wizard Roundtable. And it's always a good time. You're going to have a chance to ask questions. I've got the moderated chat tool up here so people don't sit there and talk back and forth, and they can pay attention to what's being said. And but tonight's going to be a good night. And we got 3 different people. We've got Nickisha and Tom. Nickisha is the newest member. Tom is probably the oldest member. And Nickisha, we're going to talk about how she's built her business, where she's come from. Nickisha, as you can see, and I used everybody's Facebook icon so you would know what they look like in the group if you wanted to ask them questions after tonight's training. But you can look at Nickisha's icon and see that she's a graphics artist. Nickisha's also a web designer. Nickisha's also a marketing consultant. And she's out of Florida. And she does an exceptional job at everything she does. And so it's a pleasure to have her on. I'm fixing to turn her microphone on, I hope. Let's see here. And she should be coming on in just a moment. Man, I heard that pop. Hey, Nickisha, how are you doing?
Hey, Kerry, I'm fine, and you?
I am doing absolutely wonderful. How's Florida?
Hot, very, very sticky hot.
Well, you know what? It's about 70 degrees here, so maybe we switched. But Nickisha came aboard. How long have you been with us now, Nickisha?
Since March.
It's March, and she hit the ground running. There's one thing I can say about Nickisha. If I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning, Nickisha's up at 3 o'clock in the morning. She's another one of those that doesn't sleep. She works her butt to the bone. She's got an extremely successful company. Her talents and skills are beyond approach. I actually had her design my logos for my companies, and she does an exceptional job. She's a web designer, and she's also a mobile marketing consultant. Nickisha, tell us first and foremost, what brought you to Instant App Wizard?
Building websites, there's always a need for the traffic to the website. You can have a website, but if no one actually knows how to find it, even though you might have the SEO set up where you have all the keywords in place, you still need to advertise and you still need a way for people to find you. So it actually takes too long and it costs too much on a user end and a developer's end to actually do a mobile app. You have to wait to get it in Google Play Store. You have to get it in the Apple Store, which takes forever to get. So I went to researching, and that brought me to InstantAppWizard. It's easier to have a app that doesn't take up space because space is important. You don't have to download it, and you can update it regularly, and it's an instant upgrade. So that's how I found my way.
And that's extremely important what she said. You know, we get asked that question all the time. You know, well, I want an app that I can download from Apple, and I want an app that I can download from Google Play. You know what? You can get lost in Six Flags. I don't know if anybody knows what Six Flags is, but it's a huge park. And you can get lost in the middle of Six Flags on a really busy day, and nobody can find you. And that's the same way when you go along with the native apps, small to medium businesses, and Nickisha, you can probably speak on this better than I. It's expensive for them to get into the native app industry. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. It really is.
you're talking what, 10, 20, sometimes. I know when I first wanted my app done, it was going to be about $50,000 just for the initial development. And small to medium businesses don't have that. Now, you probably come across that often, don't you?
Yeah, is I mean a small business, and my business is to cater to small businesses and not large businesses. So they have budgets, and you want to work within their budget, but at the same time, you want to give them what you know is going to get them up and noticed.
And do you find with what you're doing with the websites, and we both know that a customer should have a website and he should have a mobile web app, and a mobile web app and a website and a responsive website. We're talking three different animals. Is that correct?
Oh, definitely.
And,
The
and
easiest way to actually find your leads are if you pull up their site and realize it's not responsive.
did everybody get that? I hope everybody just heard what she said. And she said the magic word, leads. The best way to find leads is just pull somebody's website up on your phone. And if it's not mobile ready, they're an instantaneous lead. That's somebody you should really be going after. Now, tell us about your journey starting your business and getting into the platform and learning to use the platform as someone new that's really just been in just a few months. Uh, tell us your journey into the back end of the platform and where that took you.
But what I started to do first was I set a date on when I wanted to launch. I went through all of the YouTube videos, took notes, got real familiar with the platform. If you don't know how to use it, then it will slow you down trying to launch the business. And some people want to just hit the ground running, but organization is what I find the key to succeeding with it. If I don't want to get out there, I didn't want to get out there and have 20 questions thrown at me and I didn't have the answers. I had to call for an answer or text to get an answer. Kerry, even though you're good at answering, it's just still, you can lose a sale just because you didn't know, because you didn't do the legwork up front. So I probably spent about 3 or 4 days listening to your voice on the YouTube video. I went through the platform, through the resources. So I actually took everything that you guys already provided for me to get me started. When I think where most people start, it's a get it done, get it now, but you have to have patience and everything. And your business will crash before it gets off the ground if you don't know your product. So I think I built 3 apps just for me alone. I went through each section and each row and each button to where I'm real familiar. I probably could do the platform in my head. I can walk people through the platform over the phone without sitting in front of the computer. Then I was actually ready to launch. Until I knew the product, I wouldn't launch it. And I don't have my sales reps out until they know the complete platform. I have them playing with apps. I set up demos, I give them to them, let them play with it. The worst thing you could do is have somebody out selling your product and be the face of your product, and they don't know what they're doing. So
Isn't that important? I mean, let me just stop you there because I want everybody to understand what she's saying. Because this is so important what you just said. Probably the most important thing we'll hear all night is take your time and study. And we're going to talk to Mike Cahill in just a few minutes about his educational regimen. Keisha did it the right way. She stopped, and I could tell you, I think when Nickisha started, I might have talked to her twice because instead of spending all of her time in Facebook and all of her time on the phone asking about something, Nickisha was pushing the buttons, touching the buttons, building the apps, working it out. If she didn't understand it, she went in and watched the videos again. She trained herself through the training that we give, and she builds amazing apps. And she's not only does she build amazing apps, she's built an amazing company, and we're going to talk about her sales reps in a minute. She's already got sales reps on the streets. So that's very important what she said, and I wanted to put the hashtag in right there real quick. Training and educating yourself to launch your business is key. So now you've got your training done, you've built your 2 or 3 apps. Continue on with your story on launching your business.
All right, so then you need leads once you have it. So everybody has a smartphone, and you're going to go to the grocery store, you're going to ride down the street. So as I would ride down the street, I would take notice of all the business names, write them down. They're written down somewhere everywhere at this point. Made a list of my potential leads based off of if they had a website, if they had an app, and I kind of promote my apps as if you don't have a website, it's a mobile web app and a mobile app. So it's 2 for 1. So I went from that to figuring, well, maybe I'll categorize everything. Well, if you stop to try to categorize everything and then you try to build demos for everything, then you're wasting time, you're spending unnecessary time. So that brought me back to Kerry's 8-minute mobile business card. The video, I tweaked mine just a little bit, but I kept the base same. I have the cheat sheets for the pricing structure. I actually have a list that I sat down and put together of every feature that's offered. Within the resources on the platform, there's also a platform guide. It's quick, it's dirty, and it's easy. Even if you don't have time to just sit there and look at the videos, I had the paper. And after that, I pretty much got rolling pretty fast. I actually put an ad out on Craigslist. My first person called to work for me. Had several meetings. And of course, I hand them my phone. I actually have 2 phones. I have a Samsung and I have an iPhone so that they can see the difference. And unfortunately, there's different browsers. So when you do the save to bookmark, depending on the browser, depending on the phone, it won't be the same. So even I had to get familiar with that before I start putting it out on my apps. And the ball just started rolling after that. If I'll work at Panera's, I actually do have some postcards with my QR code. I put them up. Every app that I actually develop, when I'm finished, I write a blurb and a picture and put that out on Facebook. I also have 2 different Facebook accounts. I have my family account and then I have my business account because it's easier to keep the 2 separate, and you don't want to have people playing on your Facebook page. That's your business.
And I see that a lot. That's a good point, Nickisha. You know, and we talk about business pages, Facebook business pages all the time on training. And still a lot of people, and I see this when somebody says, hey, could you go to my page and be my friend? You don't want me being your friend. You want me liking your page. And you like your page from the Facebook page and not from your personal account. Yes, I've got over 1,000 friends on my Facebook page, Facebook account. I don't even know
Yes.
probably 900 of them. And I don't really do a lot with that. But you've got to have that personal Facebook account to start your Facebook pages. And that's what she's talking about when she says she's got her personal page and her Facebook page. And the Facebook page is where she markets from. Tell us a little bit about building your sales force. I know that was an interesting tale how that happened. I think one of them was your client, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yes, yes. I've actually been blessed with my reps. They actually came looking for me instead of me going to look for them. One of them, he was a client, and I sent out my initial, hey, this is my new business, check this out. And he actually called me and wanted to sit down. And he does photography. He's not into the web and the mobile. So he was like, it came about at the right time. I find it easier if the reps have a business and are in business for themselves, for them to actually want it, understand it, and work hard for it. They don't actually, they won't actually go out and sell if they're not comfortable. So the first one was old friend, old client that just, he needed the product at the same time that I was offering it. Then the next one I actually put out on Craigslist. I didn't do the ad where you post and the wanted ads. I actually put it out there as a service offered. This guy also is a business owner. He has paper. He does the paper coupons and paper magazines that go out, the flyers and all, to everybody's house. Plus, he also has the posters and stuff that's at every rest area. He has access to put those out there. So he's not into web design either. His clients needed mobile apps. So that was just another right place, right time. And then the last one, we actually was sitting down talking. It was just an introduction. And by the time we got through, he asked, could he work for me?
You got some magic, girl. You got some magic or something going on.
Well, I think once I explained, he was explaining to me what he did. And I have this thing where if I'm not good at it, I pass it on. I don't take ownership. Me losing a client that's not what I'm searching for. I'm searching for the longevity. So I know how to do videos, but if I don't like a video, I don't like doing them. I know how to do them, I just don't like doing them. So I have classmates that graduated with me. I'll send them work. I don't like photography. I know how to do all of it. The degree said I know how to do all of it. I don't like it. I don't like
you know, if you're not happy doing something, just don't do it. You're right. Because there is people out there that can do it and do it well and that enjoy it while you're out making money doing what you love. That
Yeah,
is
and it's
so
time
important.
consuming. It is time
Yeah,
consuming if it's not your first passion.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And we already know, we can tell what your first passion is, and that is your business you're doing. I can tell you. I've spent time on the phone with Nickisha, and she's definitely passionate about her business. If you could leave these folks with one thing to help them launch their business just like you did, and you could show them the way, if you had the torch in your hand, and they said, Nickisha, we will follow you to the end of the earth because you've got that golden nugget in your pocket. What would that one thing be that you can share with everybody that's going to be listening to this training?
Plan and organize before you launch. Do not launch a business and you're not ready.
I don't.
I look in the Facebook and I see a lot of people asking about pricing structure, or they might not have pricing. You can't sell if you don't know the pricing. You can't look at mine and say I'm gonna go with hers, because we're all in different states and different cities. The price of living is different. You have to cater to your area while I cater to mine. So organize everything out would be the main thing that I would leave. Organize and plan.
Organize and plan. And I think I've probably said that 1,000 times in my lifetime. Don't walk out the door. You said something so important. If somebody asks you a question and you don't have the answer, you might as well just walk on to your car and go back to the house because you probably lost that customer.
Yep.
You have to pick up the phone, and you walked in as that expert, and I know Nickisha walks in as that expert. If you're the expert and you're not the expert when they're looking at you, you're probably not going to do very well. So, well, Nickisha, I want to thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we move on to Tom?
Nope, that's it.
Well, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on and taking time out of your schedule. And I'm sure you'll be up at 4 o'clock in the morning working. And but I thank you. I thank you for everything you do for the group. I see you answer questions. I know you've done some design work, and people come to you for design work. I know you've done my design work. If anybody needs anything designed, and you're not a designer, it's kind of like she said. If you can't do it yourself and you're looking for somebody, you're going to roll the dice in Fiverr.com. When it comes to logo design, you're not going to roll the dice with her. I will vouch for Nickisha. She's extremely good. She is extremely well educated in marketing and design, and she is there if you need her. And I know she's helped some people already. So, Nickisha, thank you so much, and I wish you the best of success. And I know that you're going to do extremely well as the future comes for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great evening.
You too.
Okay, let me come over here and find Mr. Tom Miles. Tom Miles has been with us from just about the beginning of time. Let me see if I can snag him up here. There's Tom Miles right there. What do you say, Tom?
Hey, brother. What's going
How you
on?
doing, my man?
Hey, isn't Nickisha good, man?
Yeah,
What an inspiration.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing. Well, Tom, I know that you've been with us since day one. You and I have probably been on more journeys than anybody out there, and so share with everybody your story, mostly where you came from and where you are today.
All right. Basically, I got into this whole business because of the recession we had back in 07, 08. I lost a construction business and a restaurant, and found myself with nothing to do because I'm like Kerry. I'm not really well educated, and I am what I am. So I thought about it, prayed about it, and I finally decided that I wanted to get into the field of internet marketing. So that's what I did. I set out to learn how to do it. And like Nickisha, I studied internet marketing, affiliate marketing, and everything else that goes with it, with the exception of SEO. I hate SEO. I set out to learn that stuff, and it took me almost 2 years to really learn it. And even at that point, I didn't know anything, because when I started out with InstantAppWizard, as Kerry will attest, I was just a complete idiot when it came to the product.
I would say that, Tom.
Well, I would, because I mean, it's just I couldn't wrap my head around it, and I kept thinking there's got to be an easier way to do this, or a better way, or in my case, back in those days, I was always looking for the easiest way, which I'm going to tell you, and I'm kind of telling you in story form, that's not the way to go. The easiest way is usually the worst way. just from my experience. It wasn't until years, I'm talking probably 3 years of going back and forth with Kerry, that I finally realized that my economy was horrible. I wasn't bringing in the money I needed to bring in. I wasn't progressing. I was just being stagnant and trying out everything I could to make things easier. So fast forward to about 3 years later, and I finally started listening to our friend Kerry. And I think the first thing I did was I focused. I made myself focus. In the past, I'm trying to build apps. I'm trying to sell apps. I'm trying to hire salesmen. I'm thinking maybe I can be a videographer. See, I can't even say the word, but you know what I mean. And it just wasn't working. It wasn't until I focused on selling digital business cards that I started actually making money. And now, since that revelation, I've just kind of really buckled down and kind of done it the back way. Unlike Nickisha, I didn't learn up front. It took me till after I started having a little success to actually start doing things the way they should be done. That's not to say Kerry and I don't sometimes, have our differences of opinion, and I'm sure that it wouldn't hurt his heart one bit if I did whatever I wanted to do. But he's proven to me, or I've proven to myself, that he's usually right. So I listen to him now. And since it's true, it's just it pays to listen to your teacher. Anyway, I'm at the point now where my business is expanding, and I'm starting to really feel good about it, and that to me makes it all worthwhile. It's just I see a lot of good things happening in the future, and I'm loving it, every minute of it. That's pretty much how things worked out for me. It took me a long time to realize that you can't be so stubborn as I was. I was terrible.
Tom proves something over and over. Something that I'll never forget is that he always stuck to it. And sticking to something is probably the most important thing you can do if you know in your heart that what you have is going to get you where you want to go. So, and I appreciate that with Tom. I mean, and we've trained a lot. We've been on the phone a lot, and Tom has really brought his business around. If you'll notice one word he used, and Nickisha used the same word, and that was the mobile business card. If you're having trouble getting started, if you'll always go back to that one basic, it will launch you to a place you've never been. Tom, if you could give these folks one nugget to help lead them where they need to go, what would that be?
Well, that's a tough one. I think the first thing I would say is, it's going to be real tempting to want to just give it up, and you can't do that. If you give up, then you'll never know. The fact of the matter is this industry that we're in is huge, and it's only going to get bigger, and there's just no reason to get out, because if you do, you're going to lose out. If you stay in, then you're going to have the opportunity to go where some of us are going to go, which is, success. Just success, that's all. I'm not looking to be a billionaire or anything, or even a millionaire, but I just want to make a very, very nice living and build up that residual income. So the one thing I would say, don't quit. Don't ever quit Thanks, Kerry.
Thank you,
And
buddy.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Mike. I haven't had a chance to talk to him for a while. You guys are in for a real treat here with Mike Cahill. I'm gonna get off here. Thanks, Kerry. Take care.
Thanks, buddy. Okay. Thank you, Tom. Once again, that was awesome, and I greatly appreciate Tom coming on board. Tom's been with us for about 4 years. One of the first resellers that came in, and I brought Mike Cahill on this evening. Let me find him on my little wall here. We've got quite a few people in here, and I got to find where to turn him on. I love Mike because of he's a self-educator. And when I messaged him and I asked him, I said, Mike, would you come on and talk to these folks about self-educating themselves and share with them how you do it, your plan, the way you walk through, and the things you do. Mike, are you with us, buddy?
I'm here.
Mike, I'm pretty much just going to give you the floor. You know exactly what I was looking for, and if you could share your plan for educating yourself in your business and what that does for your business and where that's taken you, I'd greatly appreciate it, and I know they would.
All right, I'll do it. I jotted a few notes down after we traded messages, and I'm a big fan of the 5 W's and an H: who, what, why, when, where, and how. And if you will take those questions, turn them into questions, and answer those in almost any situation in business, it will accelerate what you're trying to accomplish. So these are not necessary, well, they're not in order. I just did kind of a free flow, and the first one is out of order because it's the most important, and it's why. A lot of us have done some network marketing in the past. I did it for about 9 years, and one of the things we were always asked is, what's your why? So you have to know why you're doing this, and for a lot of people, it's a secondary source of income with the goal of growing it into a primary source. For other people, it was an addition to an already successful or growing digital marketing business. But you have to know what you're in business for. And I suggest that you sit down and write that down. Grab a notebook and let that be your business notebook, where you're jotting down the things that you're learning and the reasons why you're learning it and the reasons why you're doing things. My background is technology. I piddled with electronics a little bit when I was in the Navy, in high school, and I went into the Navy 3 months after I graduated from high school, pursuing electronics education, and I got a great one. So I've been doing technology stuff since the early days, and I know Tom has too from my conversations with him. He even predates me. And the reality is, even back then, things changed rapidly. Not nearly as rapidly as they do today, but you had to be learning every single day or you were going to be behind, because the guy on the right side of you and the gal on the left side were learning every day. So just to keep current or keep even with them, you had to be learning. And of course today, Facebook changes every single day. And I think some of us get stuck trying to be a jack of all trades, because there's money in so many different things. You can make money just doing Facebook covers and Twitter covers and LinkedIn covers for people. So that's one aspect where you can make some cash, obviously with a mobile app and texting, with video, with SEO. But the problem is you can't stay an expert in all of those areas. So one of the things that you need to do is kind of narrow your focus. And I made a note here. Let me see if I can find it. Your business and your education needs to be as broad as it needs to be, but as narrow as it can be. So there's nothing wrong with doing video and mobile and texting and some SEO or some other service, but don't get spread so wide that you can't keep learning in that area, because you'll never keep up. And so you have to be working with a manageable education load. Now, I hesitate to say self-taught, because truly self-taught people are the ones that get in and figure it all out by themselves. I don't have time to do that. So what I have done for a long time is look for mentors who can teach me what I want to know and speed up that learning process. And over the years, I've been what they call a seminar junkie, and that's seminars, webinars, audio. For years and years and years, my kids never heard a radio in the vehicle, because when we got in, I had some tape in there, whether it was Zig Ziglar or Earl Nightingale, Tom Hopkins, somebody. So I was always learning vehicle, and subjected my family to that, and they still remind me today how painful that was for them. But it allowed me to give them a life that I wanted to give them. And obviously, they learned some things. So find the mentors that will teach you what you need to know, but don't get stuck hanging on to one once their purpose in your life has ended. So you may want to go learn how to build some funnels to bring business in. I would start with Russell Brunson. He's probably one of the best funnel builders out there, and he's got a lot of free education. You can learn what you need to learn, but you don't have to then become a groupie for Russell Brunson. Learn what you need to learn, and then back off as soon as you can. And let's see, in August, it'll be 4 years since I hooked up with IAW, and I can probably count on one hand the number of Wednesday night trainings that I have missed. And for a lot of those years, I taught a Wednesday afternoon class at church, or a Wednesday evening class, which didn't end until 8:30 or 8:45. Unfortunately, I live 2 miles from church, so I could get home. But the point was, I was going to get on the Wednesday night training because I always knew I was going to learn something. It wasn't, I wasn't on there just to be on there. It was going to be something that would move my business forward. So find those mentors, sign up for their email list, but the minute that you have learned what you need to learn, unsubscribe for that email and stop it from coming into the inbox. And make sure that the people that are teaching you have actually done what they're teaching you. Most of you know about the IM world, and you get a lot of emails, and there are people that will jump on a craze. I saw a Pokemon training course the other day. They may know what they're talking about, but Pokemon is so new that I don't think anybody other than the creators could classify themselves as experts. But what these people were doing is nothing wrong with it. They were jumping on the craze, but I don't do Pokemon. I don't know that I'm going to do it for any of my clients, because it's not really in the center of what I need to be doing, how I need to be spending my time. And so while there's money to be made there, it doesn't really fit what I'm trying to accomplish. But if those guys, learn it and want to teach it, that's perfectly fine. You need to have a system, and this is probably the second most important thing after you figure out your why. And by system, you need to know what you want to learn, when you're going to learn it, and how you're going to learn it. A couple of years ago, it was in 2015, I shut down an email account that had 160,000 unread emails in it. And I shut it down because I wasn't ever going to go back and read them. I read the ones that were important, but those are the ones that came in that as I scanned the inbox every day, their priority wasn't that high. And I should have unsubscribed, but I didn't. So I eventually just shut the account down. I restarted it later, but that was my way of cleaning those out. But use the technology. So maybe you set up a separate email address just for the webinars and the other trainings that you want to log into or access, and have all those emails come into one email account. So they're easy to find and they don't clutter up your other inbox. Maybe you do it with folders. If you use a Gmail account, you can, really any account, but Gmail makes it easy to set up filters, and you can funnel those emails directly into a folder And you can just scan down your folder list and you know which ones have emails, and that may help you sort through them. So let the technology help you. The next thing is you need to have some tools to run your system. And I know a lot of you use Evernote. If you don't, I'm going to highly recommend that you start using it. It is where I dump all of my information because it's accessible on my phone, my tablet, and my computer. And so no matter where I'm at, I can get to the information that's in there. So I've got client information, my business information, and my education. And one of the things I do in terms of education, I know that no one else on the call here has ever gotten caught going down the rabbit trail online, but that happens to me. So what I do when I find an article that I want to read is I do two things. I have a bookmark system that I set up, and every Monday morning I sit down and create a bookmark folder in Chrome for that week. And it just says week of, and it's got the date. And so as I come across an article, I'll bookmark it into that folder, kind of as a place to hold it. And I'll copy that link and I'll jump over to Evernote, and I have a notebook that is my reading plan. So it's got the books that I want to read in there laid out for the year, broken down by category: spiritual books, business books, fitness books. So I make my plan at the end of December on what I want to read for the next year. But one of my notes in the reading plan notebook are the articles that I want to read that I have found online. So I will just jump over to that note and I will paste that link. So I've put it two places, but it takes a second to bookmark something and 3 seconds to copy and paste the link into Evernote. And I have a little checkbox in Evernote. So I have a log of what I want to read. When I go through read that article, I put the check in the checkbox.
Just lost Mike. Can everybody still hear Mike, or did we lose him? Hello? Mike, we lost you there, buddy. Not sure if he can still hear me. Let me try to. Try to find him again here. I'm going to disconnect him. I'm going to bring you back in here. Let's see if we can do that. Everybody hear me okay? Yes, yes, yes. Man, I was sitting here taking notes as fast as Mike could talk, and I've got the video. Trying to get him reconnected here. Looks like he's dropped out completely. System. Let's see if he comes back in. And hopefully he will. But I can tell you, he said something extremely important. If you heard all three of these folks tonight, and they all said the same thing. Know why you're doing something and know what you're doing it for, and understand where you're going to go with it. It's great to start a business. It's the most exciting thing you can do. And I truly believe that there's not a business on the face of this earth as profitable, as exciting as the mobile app business. I truly believe that. And that's why I'm still in it 4 years later, just like Mike, just like Tom. And I know Nickisha is going to be around for the next 4, 8, 10, 15, 20 years. And we're all going to be rocking and rolling in this business. But the one thing you have got to stop doing, and I can promise you, your own self. You literally throw things out there and you try to do too much, too fast, instead of taking baby steps. I was watching a thread yesterday in the Facebook group about directories, and literally it went on all day. And finally, I asked this question. And always ask yourself this question when you go in and you start asking questions. Did I actually go in and try to do that, or am I just going to ask questions to ask questions, and I don't even know what part of the program I'm talking about? That goes back to education. I can honestly say for Nickisha, she got in the program, she touched all the buttons, she pushed everything. She had a couple of questions early on, but it wasn't really about the platform. It was about sales reps and a couple of other deals, and she builds amazing apps. So go in, you're not going to tear up anything, and know what the programs are. If you have a question about a specific thing, like the restaurant menu or the directory or any of those things, go in and build that. Educate yourself and be a part of that. And I think we've totally lost Michael Cahill. I sure do hate that. But we will get him back on the next training. I don't see him coming back in. He might have died. His computer might have died, or his phone might have died, whatever he was talking about. But anyway, so I want to thank everybody that came on board tonight. Nickisha and Tom and Mike, is there any questions before we still got about 6 or 7 minutes here. Unfortunately, Mike got cut short there by dropping out. Is there any questions that you need answered before we get off? Please remember to email me back to this right here, Kerry at InstantAppWizard.com. I will be more than happy to do the training on what you want it to be done on. Without question, just email me right here, Kerry at InstantAppWizard.com. Where do you change? So the desktop, let me pull that up real quick. I will have to pull that up in another browser here. Hang on just 1 second. It's on the front. It says desktop view or not, and all you do is turn it on or off. It's always on. Hang on just 1 second. I've got to turn on a couple of things here. I wasn't going to go into the system, but since you asked that question, I will. I've got to turn 2 things on here real quick. This isn't going to take but a minute. Is there any other questions while I'm bringing this up? All right, so here, good night, buddy. One second. If this will connect. I may not be able to connect right now. Let me turn it off. Try it one more time. If not, I will get it on next Wednesday night's training. But it's on the front of your control panel. You look at every app, it says desktop view. Every app has a thing that says a desktop view on or off. Hang on just a second, I'll tell you exactly what it says. It's not in settings or content. It's in the control panel where all your apps are listed. Here, just 1 second. We'll try to start it one more time. It's not going to let me start the desktop. Hang on just 1 second. If you'll go into your control panel, I'm going to walk you through it, just telling you. And when you go into your control panel, you're going to see all these things that say web apps, and all your web apps will be listed. On the right-hand side of those boxes, it's going to say, and it's in red letters, disable desktop view. Okay? If you will tap, and all of them are already turned on, so you have to disable them if you want them disabled. And all you do is click on disable desktop view and say yes, disable. In your IAW control panel, if you will open up and log in to your control panel. Are you in front of your computer right now? Can you log into your control panel? Log into your control panel where all your apps are. The first thing that comes up is all your apps. You see that? In the back office, do you see where your apps are? You see your apps. There's probably like, I don't know, 5, 10, 20, 50, okay? Now, if you'll go in there, do you see in each app, on the left-hand side, it says edit content, client access, web app, text service, website redirect. You see those? You see those? Did I lose you guys? Redirect code. No. No. Are you in the front of the control panel? Do you see all of your apps? It says web apps, and then you'll have like all of your apps listed there. Okay? You see over there, it says in each app, okay, it says edit content, edit client access, text web app. This is for each individual app. Do you see that? Okay, do you see on the right-hand side, you've got 3 things that are in red. The very first one in red says disable desktop preview, suspend, and delete. Do you see that? It says it right on the screen. It's in red. It's the very first red thing you're looking at. It says give to another sales rep, duplicate, if you got the sales rep feature. Disable desktop view. That's the very first thing you will see in red. Are all of your apps, okay, very good. All you have to do is click on that. Now that's not available for 1.0 apps. So if you've got old 1.0 apps there, that's not available. It's only available for the 2.0 apps. And if you will just click on disable desktop view, it will work. It will turn on. If you want it turned back on, you go in, you will, I think it says in it. I just turned it on off to look. Yeah, now it'll be blue and it says enable desktop preview. Any other questions? I wished I could bring my screen up, but unfortunately, with already being online and everything, I can't do that. When I give access to the client on the IAW marketing platform, it says contact us at the bottom. It goes to a onetap.mobi lookup site. Onetap.mobi lookup site. You got it, and it wasn't easy. Sure, it was easy once you learned once you figured out what you was doing. When I give access, could you make screenshots of that and email those to me, Michael? Because honestly, I don't have a clue what you're talking about. That's all. Thank you, Mike. I'm going to bring you on. We're going to have another one of these in about 3 weeks. I'd like to bring you back if that's possible. Michael said his computer shut down and he doesn't have a mic on the one that he's on now. I'm just telling these folks I was taking notes as fast as I could. I love you talking about your education. I really do. And Michael Cunningham, if you will shoot screenshots of that, each thing you're talking about. You was talking about dragging over into OneNote the links. You only use the OneTap.mobi platform. You're just going to take screenshots, Michael. I'm not sure what you're talking about. And be very specific, as I was saying in the beginning of the training. When you guys need help, you have to be extremely specific for us to be able to answer your questions. And screenshots are always helpful. And send it to Kerry at InstantAppWizard.com. Any other questions there? And we're going to wrap it up here. Do not forget, email me at Kerry at InstantAppWizard.com what you would like training on. Nothing is too small and nothing is too big. And I'm talking about the IAW platform. Thank you, Tom Miles, and so forth. Before we close, I'd like to I'd just like to say something about one of our resellers. Not only is he one of the resellers, but he's a great friend, and I've gotten really close to this guy, and that's Will Sims. And Will Sims' father passed away, and if you get a chance, I know many of you have posted in the Facebook group, but just reach out to Will, say a prayer for their family. Will is a great man, and I'm going to get him on training too, where he can speak. Will has been up and down the road a few times, and he finally got it together and has got a successful business going. He works about 80 hours a week, but say a prayer for Will and his family. He just lost his father. He posted last night, that his father was on his way home. And but I love Will Sims. What a great guy he is. So just reach out to him and just let him know you're thinking about him. And I know he would, and his family would appreciate that. But our thoughts are with you, Will. We love you, buddy. Anybody else? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to Nickisha, thank you, Tom, and thank you, Mike. And we'll get Mike back on, and we're going to get Will. We're going to get Roger Pineda. Roger was going to be on tonight, and he had other commitments like selling apps. And we're going to get these guys on, and I got a fellow from Canada that's going to speak. He was actually flying into Seattle during the training, so we was unable to match up with that. But we're going to have another round table, and next week we're going to have a pretty awesome training. So come with your pencils and papers, and we're going to rock and roll. Everybody have a great evening, good night, and we will see you on the next training.